What is up, guys? Rick Hackis here, and this is Modern Warfare 4 Attachments. And this is just going to be a wish list video, but before you exit the video, because you're like, oh, I want to see the actual attachments, I think I've put a lot of effort and thought into this video. This isn't just, oh, it'd be cool if. Like, I've thought about real-life attachments and also how they would be balanced properly in terms of, like, within the game. You can't just put, hollow points and make them do extra damage, because that's reintroducing stopping power, right? So, my end goal for this video is basically that some Treyarch employee sees this, like the janitor or something, and he steals all these ideas and takes all the credit for himself. I honestly don't care. All I want to see is these attachments in the game. I don't care if I get credit for them or not. I just want someone to steal them at Treyarch and put them into the game. So let's get started right away. Firstly, attachments are super important in this game, and Black Ops 2 has done a great job with providing a lot of attachments to choose from. I think there has to be at least 3, and I would be fine with 4 attachment slots on a gun. Because basically what it was before is everyone was concerned that if you allow multiple attachments, everyone's going to be using sight and silencer, and that was the big worry. And in Modern Warfare 2, that certainly was very relevant. However, because of all what Treyarch has done, turning a lot of perks, very useful perks, into attachments like fast mags and laser sight, it's become more that a lot of people choose to not go with the silencer and do things like fast mags, laser sight, adjustable stock to improve their overall gameplay. So those things have kind of forced, the overpowered builds out and introduced a lot more customization. So I would be totally okay, and I think it wouldn't be too ridiculous to envision 4 attachment slots for a gun. So let's get right into this. Firstly, I think more specialization needs to be in the game. I think that it's kind of dumb how you can't really completely specialize a class with attachments towards one thing. For example, I think that it would be neat if they introduce a new attachment called foldable stock, where all it would do is you press the D-pad and your guy would fold the stock in half. And you've probably seen, or I've heard of foldable stock. So you fold the stock on your gun, and now you hold it, and it has nothing to go against your shoulder, and then it becomes more of a CQB weapon. So once you fold the stock, it would have increased hipfire accuracy. You could combine this with laser sight, and then by using 2 attachments that pretty much do the same thing, you have a gun that is specialized for one thing. So if you're using the M4, you have folding stock and laser sight. You fold the stock plus you have laser sight. You have an M4 that is now meant for close quarters. However, if you zoom down sights, you'll get a huge bonus of inaccuracy, so you won't be very accurate at middle ranges, and you've kind of specialized your gun towards doing one thing. Another example of this is if they had the foregrip and also introduce the compensator. A compensator is something that goes at the muzzle of your gun, and it makes the fumes go basically upwards to push the muzzle down and reduce vertical recoil. So foregrip could do what it does in this game and improve center speed, and then compensator could improve view kick. So if you put both on a gun, if you could just use one and get a marginal bonus, but if you had this gun that was inaccurate and you're like, I need to solve this problem, I need to make this more accurate, you could use both attachments and focus and specialize that gun towards doing a single task. Another example of this is long barrel. I think should be for pretty much every gun in the game to improve range. You could also have magnum rounds, which would improve range as well. Like long barrel improve range by 10%, magnum rounds improve range by 10%. If you use them both, you get a 20% bonus, and if you just use one, you get a marginal bonus, which is a bonus, but I don't think that would be necessarily overpowered, because you have to spend the points to use both attachments to get the maximum bonus. And again, it would be something like, I need to fix this problem, this gun doesn't have a good range, I'm going to spend all my points on both these attachments and hopefully fix that problem and specialize my gun. Another thing, I think you should be able to use fast mags, dual mags, and extended mags. All 3. I don't see any problem with that, because consider the stuff you can't have. You won't be able to have silencer, you won't be able to have a sight. So if you specialize everything towards magazines, you're going to be nerfing yourself in several other aspects. So I really think there should be kind of a more focus on specialization and kind of like attachments that kind of do the same thing even attachments that do the exact same thing, so you can pick more of the same to specialize in one area and completely cater your class that way. Some general attachments that I think would be sweet if they added to the game. I'm just going to list them off, what they do, so let's get started. Subsonic rounds. I think it would be awesome if you could have a subsonic round attachment, and what it would do is you shoot and then don't show up on the radar for 2 seconds. That way, the enemy is always getting a delayed reaction to where you were, and you can use this to your advantage. I think another neat attachment would be phosphorus or incendiary rounds, and all this could do is if you shoot a guy, it'll take longer for him to start regenerating health, so he's vulnerable for longer. I think that they should add short barrel, basically opposite of long barrel. It would cut your range down by 15% or whatever the number would be, but it would increase your movement speed by 3, 4, 5%. So if you had an assault rifle and put short barrel on, you would be running almost as fast as the SMGs. I think that would be a very interesting attachment. I think they should also add cheek rest. The cheek rest attachment could simply be you put it on and then it gives you the ability to hold breath with all the gun, like anything but sniper rifles. I think that would be a pretty sweet attachment, and it would also replace the stability proficiency that was in Modern Warfare 3. I think Flash Hider could be in it, and basically Flash Hider, you could have it on its own so that it doesn't do anything but take away the muzzle flash from your gun. Some guns, when you're using the iron sights, have such bad muzzle flash that it makes it really inaccurate, and you almost want to put a silencer on just to calm the muzzle flash. So if you put something like Flash Hider that would do that, would be very useful. If you want to add something more to make it more useful, you could just say that it has a 50 or 60% chance of not showing up on the radar. Now, normally if you shoot 5 or 6 bullets, you're probably going to still show up. But if you're using a sniper rifle or like a single shot weapon, like the SMR where it only takes 2 shots to kill, or you're playing in hardcore, it's very possible that the Flash Hider could keep you off the radar for multiple kills. I think that a 5 or 6 times scope should be added for assault rifles, basically for nothing more than hardcore play. Sometimes the ACOG scope isn't quite far enough that you want to reach out and touch people on. I think one of my I really hope they add this one, would be so sick, is side irons. In case you don't know, you can get iron sights that go up at a 45-degree angle off your gun. So if you turn your gun, you can then use the iron sights that are sticking up at the side of your gun, whereas you turn your gun back to normal and you're using whatever sight is on there. So I think it'd be super awesome to have a red dot sight or a holographic sight or an ACOG sight, and then press the D-pad and be able to switch to your side iron sights at any time. This would make it so that if you got EMP'd and you no longer have your dot on your red dot sight, you could switch to your side irons and have functionable sights. Also, it would make it more manageable to use the higher powered sights like the ACOG or the infrared scope or whatever, because you could put that on, and then when you're entering a close quarter scenario, switch to your side iron sights and use that in close quarters. I think that'd be great. Next, I want to see slidable sights. If you are familiar with Black Ops 2, you know with the red dot sights on the pistols, they're very, very far in front of you and they're very small, up to the target finder, which is basically in your eye. I think that you should be able to slide your sights from some degree, like if you had a red dot sight, you should be able to pick if you want it far away, like at the front of your gun, kind of like the pistols, and then or further back. If nothing more for simple personal preference, but if you want to add another aspect of customization to the game, you can make it so that the further away your sight is from your gun, so if it's very far away, you'll have a very small kind of area that you can aim, and then you'll aim down sights very faster because it's easy to acquire your sight. Whereas if it was right next to your eye like a target finder, then you would aim down sights slower, but you would have much wider range of vision, and it would be much more clear, better for getting people off at a long range. Another interesting thing with the red dot sights, I think you should be able to customize your red dot sights, like completely customize. I don't mean pick from stuff that's pre-created. Basically put in the emblem editor, but with red dot sights. And if I want to make my own triangle or two or one line come in from the right side or something, I don't see why not. You just make a shape basically, and then it turns it into a red laser. I honestly don't see the problem with making your own custom red dot sights. I think that would be awesome. Next, This is just a this would be basically useless for anything but hardcore, but see-through mags. Some guns, like the G36, come with plastic magazines that you can see how much ammo is in them. And this is completely useless for normal core, but for hardcore, being able to like press the D-pad or press something and being able to look at your magazine and say, okay, this is half full, or crap, I need to reload, or I barely shot at all, I think that would be super awesome for hardcore. That's a totally good attachment for hardcore. And if you put it in the game, it doesn't hurt anyone. You just would never use it for normal core. Shotgun, let's go. The shotgun's basically, Treyarch did a very interesting thing introducing a slug only shotgun, but let's go over the shotgun rounds that you could possibly use. There's slug, there's buckshot, which is in every other shotgun. There's birdshot, which is just smaller pellets than buckshot. There's flechette, which is basically like nails, and then there's explosive rounds. Basically, you could have different shotguns for each of these different types. Like the birdshot shotgun could be super close range but have a very wide radius. The buckshot would be normal. The flechette would maybe have better penetration through walls. And the explosive, they could totally do an explosive one. They could have it just like the KSG. You shoot a guy dead on and it would be just like a slug. It would insta-kill. But then if it hit the ground, it would have, I don't know, like a few feet of explosive radius. This would be good for getting, if you knew a guy was waiting for you behind a doorway, you could just shoot the bottom of the doorway like 3 times and kill him. They could easily make this not overpowered. It sounds kind of concerning, like a shotgun that shot explosive bullets, but it's very easy. They could tone it down enough that it would be useful in objective scenarios, but not overpowered. For secondaries, I am sick and tired of the launchers not having any attachments. Firstly, you can put sights on the goddamn launchers. They have rails. Like, I don't understand why I have to look down the iron sights. Why can't I put a red dot sight? Like, there's really no reason why you can't. Just laziness on the developer's part, not wanting to program that into the game. But I totally think that you should be able to choose between, red dot sight, ACOG, even if that's it. I would like that. Also, some new attachments they could have, you could put fins on, so that would improve the accuracy of your rockets. You could have advanced propellant, which would improve the speed of your rockets. You could have air burst, so as soon as the rocket goes, is a meter away from the ground or an object, it would explode, and this would be a bigger radius than normal, so good against infantry, but you would have to make sure that you were shooting down on stuff, otherwise it would skirt along the ground and explode prematurely and you'd get nothing. So that would add a whole new dynamic to the game as well. Next, night maps. They could totally add night maps, and this is this is going to be a different commentary in and of itself, but if they do, there's tons of attachments they can add. Just some off the top of my head, they could add 3 different types of flashlights, like the normal one, the super wide one, and the super narrow one. They could add night vision sights. They could add multiple night vision sights, like one that zooms in very like an ACOG, one that maybe is only 1-time zoom. They could add thermal, which is, we all know and love, the black and white glowing white thermal. They could also add infrared, like night vision, thermal, and infrared are 3 different style of sights. They could add all 3, even if there was only one of each at a different zoom level. It would be really neat to see. That's it for this video. Remember to rate, comment, and subscribe, and I hope you watch more of these upcoming wishlist videos. And as always, have a nice day.